Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and 3 or 4 years ago I made a video on how I eliminated ick from my reef tank. And I stand by that video 100%. Everything in that video is still correct to this day. Unfortunately, since that video, I've progressed and my tank has progressed. Now, ideally, you would have 0 ick in your tank. So this can be done. There's a common misconception out there that says every tank has ick in it. That is simply not the case. You do not have to have ick or marine velvet in your tank. If you quarantine and you get lucky, now the important part is if you get lucky, you will not have ick in your tank. And if you get ick in your tank, you can completely remove it. If you take all the fish out of your tank and you wait 6 weeks, you can eliminate the ick from your tank. Ick is a parasite. And a quick explanation as to how this works is ick will likely come in attached to your fish. It'll be under the skin where no medication can harm it. And it's going to be feeding on your fish. So it's going to be drinking the blood and eating it. It's going to be nasty. But it's going to pop and it's going to swim out and swim down to the sand bed where it's going to create a little cyst on the sand bed. It's going to hang out there and then it's going to replicate and it's going to come up and it's going to find a new fish and the whole thing's going to cycle. Now, the big problem is this is an exponential cycle. So every time ick feeds on your fish and runs through this cycle, in theory at least, there are more ick parasites every time. So it can be just a couple parasites that you don't see coming in on your fish. And it can quickly get out of control. You're talking 1 parasite becoming 200 parasites in a week or 2. That sucks. And that is why I stress quarantine. Every fish that comes into my system gets quarantined. Every tang that comes into my system gets treated with copper. Every tang that I've ever had has had ick on it. So guess what? I treat every tang like it has ick and I treat it with copper from now on. It's how I've been doing the last few tangs and I've had good luck. Now tangs are supposed to be a little bit sensitive to copper medication. And while that's probably true, I've had good luck treating my tangs with copper. There are definitely some fish that you should not treat with copper. Now, unfortunately, some of us, no matter how hard we work, end up with ick in our system. For a long time, I managed to keep it out of my system. Then in about February, it's August now, I got ick again. Oh, that killed me. I'd worked so hard. I'd quarantined everything. And it got in my tank. I don't know how it got in my tank. Came on a coral, came on a piece of something. Who knows? But it didn't come on the fish because I was quarantining. I was treating with copper. I was doing everything right there. But it can absolutely come in on a coral. It can come in on an invertebrate. It can come in on almost anything. It can come in on the water. Remember, you're going to have something that's wet moving from one tank to another. There is no way you can completely rinse all that water off. And remember, 1 parasite can become hundreds. So I ended up with ick. I tried really hard to prevent it. So now I'm living with ick. What's that like? Well, it's not as bad as you'd think. Now, there's a huge difference between ick and marine velvet. They are very similar. They look about the same. They act about the same. The difference is marine velvet kills in days and ick may not kill at all. In fact, it usually doesn't kill at all. If you have strong, healthy fish, your fish will create proteins in their slime coat that fight the ick off. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time it will. And that was how I got rid of the ick in my 210 gallon tank. Ideally, I would tear that entire tank down, pull all of my fish out, and treat them in copper, kill the ick, let the tank go fallow for 6 weeks, and I'd be ick free. Now, look at my tank. There's over 200 pounds of live rock. I've got coral growing on the glass. There's no good way to tear that tank down. So, if you can tear a tank down and quarantine the system, you can absolutely eliminate the ick. You can get rid of it, and you can have an ick-free system, and that's what I recommend. But if you're like me, you can't do that. So, for months, I've been living with ick. And really, it hasn't been too bad. Initially, I got quite a few parasites. Now, I didn't dose any medications at all. I don't believe in the medications. None of the creators of the medications that I'm aware of post any scientific evidence as to why their medications work. You know, I got lots of people on my channel saying they work. They've tried it. They work. Anecdotal evidence is not scientific evidence. What I want to see is evidence as to why it works. When I read something from the manufacturer that says it targets the free swimming stage, great. How? Oxidizers? Really? How does that do it? Why? What are you doing? It doesn't tell me. In fact, the fish's slime coat has been proven scientifically, at least it appears to be scientific. I cannot actually give you the journal that references it, to get rid of the ick parasite, right? So the fish is going to get the ick, and then the proteins within the slime coat are going to build, and it's going to prevent the fish from getting ick. And it appears to work, because for the last 2 months, I haven't seen any ick on my fish. Maybe a white spot on my fin. Maybe that was an ick. But the fact of the matter is, it is possible to live with ick. It is possible to get rid of ick without medication. Now, ick is something that can be treated without medication. This video is going to be very controversial, but I kind of want to recap how I did it. All I did was feed my fish well, work on water quality, and the ick went away. And my guess is that there's a multi-million-dollar industry based on the simple fact that the slime coat on the fish gets rid of the ick. Because really, anybody could put a bunch of herbs in a bottle, say they have an herbal method that targets the slime coat, and when you dump it in the water, eventually the ick goes away, because that's what we see. And if you look at the reviews on all these products, they're kind of hit or miss. Kind of what you would expect from the slime coat method. So anyways, let me know in the comments column what you think of this, because this is how I dealt with the ick in my tank. It's been months, and I have no parasites that I can really see on the fish at this point. But guess what? I'm living with ick. One of these days, it's coming back. So, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.